So I'm Kyle.
Hi, Kyle.
Hey, everybody. And I am a Linux user. During the day, I'm a system administrator or systems architect, which is just an administrator with a couple more meetings. And when I'm not doing that during the day, I do some technical writing. So I've written a couple books. Official Open Server book is the latest one. And actually, many aspects of this talk were taken from a chapter I had written in that book about troubleshooting. This link, as I mentioned earlier, to someone will always is available if you want to follow along right now. If you're like sitting back because that's really cool, but you can't see very well, so you don't want to sit up front because sitting in back is cooler, then you can just go there and follow along right now. I know how it is. The agenda today is I'm going to sort of give a brief introduction to what I'm trying to achieve with this talk, and then after that, sort of introduce the concept of network troubleshooting a little bit, including some general troubleshooting philosophies. Then after that, introduce the problem that we're going to solve today. There's no demo really, but I'm going to sort of talk through a problem, and including testing whether it's a client or server problem. After that, testing whether it's plugged in, important thing. Then a couple other steps, testing the local network. Then I'm going to touch on DNS troubleshooting, then testing routes, testing for remote ports on a machine, then testing for listening ports on that machine, and then some questions. I'm going to go pretty step by step, and I'm going to be using pretty standard basic tools that you may be used to, or even if you're not used to, that should be on your system. So going down here to make sure my remote doesn't disappear. All right. So, troubleshooting is a skill. I used to think that everyone naturally was good at troubleshooting. I thought, well, we sort of naturally had the sense of how to take a problem and step by step, rule out possibilities and trace down to the solution. What I've come to find out over years of working with many other people in a troubleshooting situation is that many people just naturally don't know how to troubleshoot. Some people do, some people don't. But even though you may or may not naturally be good at troubleshooting, like everyone can be a better troubleshooter. Even though it's a skill, it's something that you can learn over time to be better at. So in addition to being a better troubleshooter, you also want to be faster at it, especially if you're in a job where downtime costs your company money and people are freaking out, yelling at you and all that stuff. It's really good if you can solve the problem in a day, but it's even better if you can solve the problem in a half an hour or a couple of minutes if money's on the line, right? So along those lines, this is actually, if you look in the program, I think it's called the talk Linux Troubleshooting 2 Network or something like that. It's because this is a continuation of another talk I did, not here, but on local host troubleshooting. Sort of started from that and then moved on to the network. So that explains that. But in that talk, I spent a lot more time on some overall philosophies for how to approach troubleshooting. I want to make sure I have plenty of time to talk about network troubleshooting in here, so I'm going to sort of briefly mention the same philosophies. So number one, whenever you're trying to solve a problem, as best you can, try to divide the problem space. So what I mean by that is, and you would think that this comes naturally to people, but many people it doesn't. An example is, if you were to ask someone who is good at troubleshooting to pick a number between 1 and 100, the first guess would be 50, and you say higher. Second guess would be 75, lower. And with every answer they're giving, they're dividing the problem space in half. You ask other people who are bad at troubleshooting to pick a number between 1 and 100, and they'll be like 3, or higher, 17, higher still. But I've seen people